So I'm Paul Lownes. I'm the project director at Gravity in Somerset, and this morning I have the pleasure of interviewing Chris Marshall. Chris, as you know, central to the Gravity agenda is the sustainability and clean growth agenda, and I think it's time that we reflect on the considerable contribution that the remediation and earthworks component of the project make to this agenda.
It's been very refreshing for us. We work with a lot of developers, commercial industrial landowners on development projects across the UK. And this has probably been one of the first where we work with a company like yourselves who has embraced sustainability, certainly for the development project there, maximising the reuse and retention of materials on site. So it's been great to work with you. You've embraced a lot of the tools that are available to you, and I think that's been great, not only to help with the development, but also to provide a lot of value for stakeholders and potentially interested parties on the site.
You developed the materials management plan. Perhaps talk a little bit about the materials management plan.
Yes, I think back in August last year, where we were reaching the transition between remediation and development, we obviously worked with yourselves about identifying what materials might be available for reuse in the development. And as a result, in August, we put together an all-encompassing materials management strategy, which really looked at all the available assets really on the site. The concrete slabs, for example. We've got some blast mount materials. We've got some brick there as a result of demolition activities. A number of things which we can reuse. And working with you on things like the link road there, which will provide a necessary access point to the site. The first thing we did was identify the blast mounts and look to use the Clare Development Industry Waste Code of Practice for the reuse of those materials as part of the link road. And that formed the sub-base and also some materials necessary for the acoustic band. So that was the first actual physical use of that framework that we've been using.
Chris, overall, what sort of volumes are we talking about in terms of the export of the blast mount material to the link road?
We've had approximately 182,000 tonnes available from the blast mounts, which is a terrific volume, to be fair. Of that material, I think about 145,000 has been transferred, or is in the final processes of being transferred to the link road. If you had to resource that from other locations, that would cost a lot. It would have a high carbon footprint. If it was going to be from clean stone from local quarries, obviously we've got a lot of traffic movements down through the village, which again wouldn't be ideal. So it's another good way of maximising the resources that we've got on site. That there is a need for the material. It is very suitable for use under this framework, and the sustainable use, the carbon footprint that we've benefited from there is substantial. Yeah.
Employing that theme of recovering materials, recycling, repurposing, and reusing. Tell me about the recovery of the concrete.
Well, with the concrete, we have had a lot of historical roadways and slabs across the development site. They've all been broken out and screened and crushed in designated areas. That's generated approximately 30,000 tonnes so far. The 15,000 tonnes, I believe, is being used on the link road itself. We've got a further 15,000 tonnes which can be used for pipe bedding across the site with development. And again, it's a great material to work with.
Part of the Ashfield's initiative was to crush brickwork to provide access roads to the blast mounds so that we could access those blast mounds in wet weather.
We've had a lot of brickwork remaining on site as a result of the demolition activities. That's created circa 15,000 tonnes currently available, and that has been reused by yourselves. And we think we've got approximately another 30,000 tonnes available, which again we will screen, crush and test for suitability in other areas of the site.
Other elements of material that we're looking at using, probably a little bit more challenging. We've got about 7 kilometres of roads which are topped with coal tar. With
the material that's available from the roadways, we will recycle that in terms of using waste exemptions as the framework available to us there. I think probably what will happen there, that'll be used as a binding layer then for future roadways for construction as part of the development master plan.
There is also a tremendous amount of timber available on the site, which we're recycling at the moment. Tell us a little bit about what we're doing with that.
We've got approximately 250 tonnes of timber available, which was damaged largely by wind and pollarding, and has been available to us from the remediation clearance. That's being transported off site. It's going to be milled and used for animal bedding and also for green energy generation.
We've imported quite a lot of topsoil already, and we're looking to bring in more. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Been working a lot with partners in the area of the site. We became aware of some surplus materials on local development sites. And we obviously knew that you had a requirement for topsoil. For example, we know there's 18,000 tonnes needed for the landscape feature. We know there's approximately 95,000 tonnes of topsoil needed for the wider gravity landscaping, 6,500 tonnes for the acoustic bund landscape. So we know there are 5 sites quite close to gravity. We know there is a shortage of soils in the UK. It saves and mitigates any transfer of materials to things like landfill, which would be worst case, obviously. If there is a donor who has a surplus and a receiver who has a requirement, it makes perfect sense to use this material as long as the protocols are followed. And I think this is one of the greatest successes so far for working with yourself on this site.
The mantra for gravity, and somebody said to me the other day, is the solution to waste management is no waste.
Yeah.
And we really have gone a long way to cracking that on gravity.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely.
So, Chris, I'd like to thank you very much for your time this morning. I hope you found it interesting, and so everybody should embrace the mantra, the 4 R's.
That's right.
Recover, recycle, repurpose, reuse.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.